Hey guys, this is Jamie. My video started automatically, but whatever. Um, so today I want to talk about, I guess, a different approach. Like in general, I do talk about cishet people, but I wanted to focus on sort of, let's say, the dysphoria of cishet people. Um, I think we've been noticing sort of through time we have more like gender reveal parties when it comes to babies, and we have in general this sort of fear of cishet people feeling like they're losing their identity, which is something that I don't really understand. But we can kind of see it daily, sort of like in panics, like even like in turf panics, sort of like why are trans men doing this? Isn't being a woman enough? Like, where you can be a masculine woman, or when it comes to uh, regular transphobes, also towards trans women, sort of like, why can't you be a feminine guy? And there's a lot of sort of things to discuss there, but I just feel like straight people feel very insecure about their presentation. And this whole idea came to me sort of from browsing like different Tradwives, TikTok, Instagram, and sort of like religiousness as well. You kind of have this whole, and specifically in the religious sphere, in the Tradwife sphere, you sort of have this rigidness of like, this is what it is to be a woman and you can't go outside of it, or like, this is it, what to be a man and you can't go outside of it. And it's interesting because from an LGBT perspective, obviously, we talk about labels and we think about, do we belong in our box, do we belong in another box? Well, most cishet people don't have that. They don't really question their gender or sexuality. So when confronted with meeting gay or trans people, they apparently feel a bit threatened, sort of in a, because I didn't feel like, let's say, like short hair while being a woman, did that make me any less of a woman? And because other people had that enough of a catalyst, then that becomes something that people question. And in general, there is an interesting discussion to be had, specifically with labels and even the LGBT community taking the rigidness from cishet people. And I guess it would be a bit hypocritical of me to say that I'm just gonna focus on straight cishet people, rather, with their rigidness and demonize them, when in reality I demonize anyone who feels very rigid in their box. I do feel like labels help us a lot, and they help us perceive ourselves, and they help us be a guideline, but at the same time I feel like we're in this weird state of the world and social aspects that we need to think outside of the box as well. Like, our label is just the beginning of unwrapping our complex identity. And at the same time, we can take solace in certain things. Like, obviously, when it comes to trans journeys, and specifically since that is talked a lot right now in the UK and overall in the US. And I'll try to have a more in-depth video soon about it. Just that I've been rather tired, and I got some weird food poisoning anxiety thing, so I kind of wanted a bit of a lighter topic for now. Well, lighter is a stretch, but so it sort of starts making us question about our boxes, how trans are we, how cis are we, I guess. And at the end of the day, we do have to think that what our label box means to us is not what it means to someone else sometimes. And I just find that really weird, and I do understand that sort of like how cis women might not understand why I transitioned and why I feel a man. The same way I can look at a cis woman and be like, I don't understand how you work and etc. And we all go across this sort of not understanding dilemma because we're supposed to sort of, society tells us that we're supposed to be more similar, and trans folk tell us that we're supposed to be more similar. So we go into this hateful sort of cycle of hating each other. When in reality, well, just like men and women don't have as much stuff in common, neither do trans men or cis women. And I know this is like, it's heated debates, specifically with trans men who feel some kinship affinity towards women, and usually it's ones who are attracted to women. So it's quite a heated debate, and obviously we have the he/him binary men, binary trans men, lesbians was a interesting thing for a while. And in general, this insecurity, and it's really interesting that we all have this insecurity just because we're the question of what is gender, what is sex, and other things became a topic of discussion the past few years. It kind of made people anxious about themselves, because in reality, we all can be insecure about ourselves and not understand ourselves to the fullest. So it sort of feels like if someone else is feeling comfortable in their skin, but interprets in a different way, that can make us feel uncomfortable. So it's quite interesting from a psychological, sociological perspective. And I do wish it contains way less hate. And then you have the religious people who feel that, oh, this is what God created, I have to embrace like my femininity, my fertility harvest or whatever. And it's bizarre. In general, I find religious topics interesting, and I feel like we have a far more strict religiousness these days, specifically a culty vibe. And in general, I feel like the cis-het people lost their identity, and that's why we have like cis-het men looking at Andrew Tate. We have cis-het women sort of fighting for their femininity and trying to say that women are better, or in some instances, or that only the girlies understand. So we kind of have this infighting between two genders, specifically between men and women. And then obviously it can also translate to the trans community, between trans men and trans women. Then it becomes an overall men versus woman. But in reality, it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be different within your own label. So there are a lot of things I sort of don't understand, and I feel like we could all take a chill pill and just relax. But unfortunately, that's not the easy solution. So yeah, I also did this video more on a lighter note, more like a small sort of debrief discussion and an interesting observation I really wanted to mention about femininity. But I do want to say that it has been a heavy week for the trans community, and my heart is really there with everyone, every trans person in the UK, in this very, very serious and absolutely devastating time. And obviously in the US things have not gotten better. And I do want to say that the trans community obviously needs more support. Check on your trans friends, check on what can be done. Even raising awareness would be good, and even if you just stay safe, it's also well. And I was thinking, like, over the past few years I've had stances where I didn't want to be as visible because I was really tired from the transphobia happening before it became a bit calmer. And now I'm much more vocal about being trans, and my videos are more trans oriented as well, very often. So I do want to say that if you have it in you to be an activist and to speak out on issues, you really should. And if you're an ally, you can still speak out on issues as much as anyone else, as long as you're educated. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to share. Start a fight with your friends over who feels that their femininity or masculinity is fragile. So yeah, share. Make sure to share. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe to see more of my videos so that you can see my face even more. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to buy me a coffee. I really appreciate it. I drink coffee in horrendous amounts, and your coffee will not be wasted. It will be another coffee drink, I guarantee. Thank you very much.